Oh, hi! This week, I'm gonna make my own sweater based on the Queer Eye lip sync battle episode. Look at me being all trendy and shit. Yellow is super not my color, but I have this sweater. The color looks weird. Both that and the purple. This looks really blue on camera. I promise these are purple and yellow. I'm not good enough at cameras to fuck with the settings, so I'll just put some Instagram filters on it to make it look right for the thumbnail. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, it's fine. You don't need to have seen the lip sync battle episode. I don't regularly watch that show, but once in a while they just have the most ridiculous things happen with people that I really like to watch. It's a fun romp once in a while. If you do know what I'm talking about or know how I feel about those lovely gents on the new Queer Eye, I just can't handle my love for them. I've been fangirling super hard over them since the summer. Do have a very big crush on Anthony, but God, I just want to be friends with all of them so bad. Like, every single one of them seems so wonderful. I know they're TV personalities and they're portrayed in a certain way and all this stuff, but they just seem like really good dudes, and I'm glad that a new generation has like good role models to look up to. Alright, before I get too deep in the cheese, here's what you need. I have a yellow sweater. I'm not permanently altering this sweater because it will eventually get dyed, but I think a quick costume, if you have a whole entourage of friends and you want to do this for Halloween or something, I think it will be really fun. We're basically just making a varsity letter. Now, most of them were wearing crop tops. I'm not a fan of them. Also, I have the world's longest torso, so if I like cropped it to normal person crop top length, everything would be out. I was gonna take a page out of Bobby Burke's book and keep it nice and long. Also, it's cold as shit. It's like 2 degrees outside, quite literally 2 degrees outside. I need all the warmth I can get. This is a very like bougie, expensive sweater that I certainly didn't purchase. There's a woman somewhere in the world that I am separated by like 3 or 4 degrees that must change her clothes every 6 months because she gets rid of multiple giant trash bags full at least twice a year. That's just a different type of person than me. But it goes to someone she knows, and then that goes to my boyfriend's mom, and then it comes to me. So there may even be more clothes than I get by the time they show up to me, and then whatever I don't take or alter, I donate. But yeah, so I end up with some like real crazy stuff. Next time I get a bag, I'll go through it with you all. I also have this purple fabric. I also have some foam. This is scrap from something that was going to go in the garbage. I can't waste material, even if it's from someone else. That's half my shop, is other people's garbage, as we just discussed. If you have interfacing denim, any kind of thick, stiff material that you can add as a backing to this fabric. I do like the foam because it's going to give it some third dimension qualities to it. This is where if you're sewing the letter to the sweater, it's going to be easier because it's all going to be held up on its own, where I'm attaching this with some pins, so it's not going to be as sturdy. University letters are the easiest to draw, I swear, because it's just very blocky, and you're going to do great. And then this isn't necessary, and work with whatever you have, but I have this 2-row black cording, so I'm going to stitch right in the center of it, even though it's really tiny, as a trim. But if you have lace, you also don't need to add it, but they just have black borders on there, so I thought I'd go for it. Other than that, you just need the usual like scissors, pins, sewing machine, and matching thread. And then I'm using these adhesive safety pins as the back just because I have these laying around. Ooh, crap, I forgot to take something. Love when you have an alarm set for a specific reason and then you shut it off and then don't go do the thing that you set the alarm for. When I drew the letter onto the foam, I did cut probably like a 1/2 inch outside of it all, just to count for some seam allowance. That'll definitely fit on there. So I need 2 layers of the purple material. I'm gonna lay my first piece face up and my second piece face down, so right sides together. I'm gonna lay this, the direction doesn't matter, onto the wrong side of this. So I'm gonna stitch around all of this. I'm gonna leave a gap just for turning everything out. Okay, yeah, this is what it looks like right now. I'm gonna trim off some of these scraps. Obviously, you don't need to leave the pieces this big. I knew I'd have to be trimming it after, but now it must go. And because the foam is so thick, I'm gonna trim everything pretty close. There's a lot of corners to turn out. Ta-da! Now it looks like a letter. If you have inside corners on your letter, I'm just gonna snip right up to where the threads are. So you're not cutting through the seam, because that will be bad. And then any positive corner, convex corners, I'm gonna cut it at a 45-degree angle like that. So again, not through the threads. Now I have my 3 layers here. I'm gonna open up between the 2 purple ones, so it should be right sides coming out, turn everything out that way. So it's gonna tuck the foam in like a little sandwich. I managed to get lipstick on my scarf. I knew it was gonna happen. Oh my gosh, just took a little break because I got a notification that someone ordered one of my Pikachu onesies in my Etsy shop. I'm gonna finish this up, but then I gotta go to the store to get some material for it. I'm always very self-conscious about posting proper prices for things in there because I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's because I make stuff and have also just come from small means financially that spending that kind of money on something isn't really something I would do. And also there's, you know, a degree of pride in your own work you need to take to charge a fair amount for the things you're making. And that's definitely something I have been working on. And thankfully I have friends that have been talking me up and helping me figure out prices on all that stuff. And it's not like I'm overcharging for stuff. I'm barely paying myself. I'm still at the stage where I am completely in shock and awe that someone is paying me to make stuff. I don't know why that's like such a hard concept for me to grasp, but I am beyond excited to work on this thing. I'm more than comfortable making custom orders and everything, so I'm glad we got to kind of make a collaborative effort to figure out what he wanted and I can do for him, and I'm just so excited I get to make one for someone. Eee. Okay, anyway, that is completely unrelated to this project. I flipped my letter out. I trimmed it a little too close on the corner, so a couple of the threads are sticking out. It's getting trim over it, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Now I have my gap that I need to sew shut. I'm going to fold everything in on itself so it gets a nice flush edge. No raw seams are poking out, and give that a little top stitch. Because this has foam in it and it's kind of puffy and everything, I may iron it after, but for the time being, because I'm doing trim over it, to kind of make a channel for the trim to sit in, I'm gonna do top stitching around the whole thing. I think it's gonna make it look a lot nicer. Not the most necessary step, but I think it's gonna help it and also potentially help give the edges some more rigidity. Yeah, that already looks a lot better. I guess I don't really need to iron this. I did the top stitching. I realized that this side isn't quite as even with this side as I originally thought. I was making this for someone. This is the kind of shit I'd be a real stickler about, but because it's just a little gag outfit for me. It's all good. Now I'm going to add my trim. Ugh, okay. Well, I guess from afar it doesn't look as bad. Up close, I hated this trim. It was really hard to sew and I had to do zigzag stitches and it was just stretchy enough to be a pain in the ass. If I were to do this again, I would just stitch this onto like a black felt to have some little borders, and that would also help with the rigidity of it because adding a whole nother layer. But yeah, so now I'm gonna attach the sticky pins, and this is extra satisfying because I've had this container for a while. I believe I got these pins from Jen from Technicolor Moments. We did like a craft supply swap. The project I did for that video was this banner right here. So those pins are holding up the string, but I have 2 left and I need 2 for this project. So I'm emptying a storage container and I'm very excited about it. Now I get to fill it with other shit. I'm just gonna stick these on here. Whatever safety pins you have if you're just attaching this for like a one-time deal. All right, there's my letter. I have never been so confused about what a J looks like after staring at this for so long, because for a while I had convinced myself that it goes this way and that I had everything backwards. Apparently don't know how to write my own name. Let's put this on the sweater. All right. Ooh, okay. Yeah, as long as you're not standing like this close to it, I should think this is looking okay. What do you guys think? Stitching it right down would make it look nicer. You could also add some heat and bond or like Wonder Under underneath it. That way you can just iron it off. I did put on my short denim shorts. Really do the whole damn thing. And it is, you know, cut up on the sides, which is not something I've ever worn. I do still feel like I'm channeling my inner Jonathan Van Ness. But yeah, a little goofy of a project. I'm like beside myself over this Etsy order. It's just the most expensive thing in my shop, so I was just surprised, but also I put it out there. I'm not like afraid to make it, which used to be a problem for me, so I obviously like knew how to do it. Then the second someone would order it, I'd just be like crippled with fear that I had to make it for someone and make it look as nice as possible, but I can do that. So basically everyone's a work in progress. I know I have a sewing and crafting channel, but I still definitely get in my own head sometimes, and I'm not great at everything. That's why I do this every week, and I'm doing it twice a week now, is to make myself better and share with you guys and also learn from you guys. I've gotten a ton of incredible tips from everybody in the comments and sharing their own projects, so that's why I do this damn thing. I get to better myself and also get to connect with all of you because you're great, and I really appreciate you hanging out in this corner of the internet. If you're curious, this is the Pikachu onesie I made. Yeah, it's like a full-size Kigurumi. I hope I didn't fuck up saying that. He's got cute little ears. I'm really proud of how his face came out because it looks like him and it makes me very happy. If you want something like this for yourself, I will link to my Etsy shop below if you didn't know I had one. That's the thing that costs the most in the shop, and I obviously understand not having that kind of money to throw around. And it bothers me more than anybody when I have to like charge a lot for things, but it's a ton of material because it's a huge outfit and it just takes so long to make. I promise I'm not like price gouging anyone. I'm the least comfortable with having high prices on things. But yeah, I have some jewelry and things on there, so if you want, go ahead and check it out. I'll also link to my Patreon if you don't necessarily need me to make you anything. If you still want to come hang out and get extra stuff. If you would like to stick around for future weirdness, you can subscribe up here, and I'll see you guys on Saturday. Yours will probably look better than mine.